Alright, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of the JakKlauZ show. I'm your host, JakKlauZ, and you guys have probably been seeing a group that I posted called the Tracks Revolution Tracksaholics. Well, ladies and gentlemen, after 20 some odd years, or after almost 30 years of having a car club called Tracks Revolution, it's now official. I moved everything from Tracks Revolution to basically being the Tracks Revolution Tracksaholics. So if you're a person who's into anything with motors and wheels, you like being around cars, you like going mudding, you like going off-roading, you like doing anything that involves laying tracks, then you're a tracksaholic, dude. You're somebody who likes to lay tracks. You're somebody who likes to talk about, burning rubber, making wheels, whatever. So you're a tracksaholic. You're a person who spends time in an automotive vehicle, laying tracks on the ground, going to a track, being around, doing things that involves making, tracks, and being around motorsports. So if you're that kind of a person, then you're a tracksaholic. See, I can already hear people in the background going, "Oh, you're basically like the Hoonigans." Well, we kind of are, but we're a more northern, kind of track people. Tracksaholics are basically people who do things in the dirt. We do things in the dirt. We do things on the street. We do things in the snow. We do things, all over. As long as we're making tracks, that's basically what we're doing. Even if you're riding an electric e-bike or a mountain bike, or you're doing some kind of shit that involves wheels and a motor. That's what I say. So I'm going off topic tonight for two kinds of things. First of all, I'm thinking about things that are going on in my life right now and what needs to be done in my life, which I think is really something that is really something that is going to happen soon. I think life is going to change in a heartbeat, like really quick. And I think something might change, something might turn around, something might happen for me. I really have no clue what the hell's going to happen, or what's going to happen, or what's going to go, or what's going to do. I'm just preparing for everything. So I'm getting ready for a lot of things in my life. Basically, one, I'm getting ready for Christmas, and two, I'm getting ready for more car shows that are going to be going on before the end of this summertime. So that's what I'm more worried about than anything else. I don't really care, what else is going on in the world other than motorsports and, mudding and car shows and hanging out with my friends and having a good damn time with the tracksaholics. But I'm going to tell you right now that I have nothing but respect for everybody that, reaches out to me, that wants to talk to me, that's basically my friend, basically that helps me out and everything else, and we'll go from there. But I found out that my car goes in the shop today, so it'll go into the garage sometime tomorrow morning, and we'll find out what it is that gets done. Do I even know what it is that's going to happen? All I know is that they're going to put it up on a lift, and they're going to try to look at it. And this is Doll Automotive, who's working on my car, which I would love to know what's going on. I know that I lost first, second, and reverse, and all I had was third, fourth, fifth, and sixth gears in my Mini Cooper, so I really don't know what the problem is. I did have a clutch go out on me, well, a clutch that's starting to slip, but, I don't know if that's a problem. But in a manual transmission, sometimes the clutch can be your biggest problem, or can be your fallback. And if a clutch needs to be replaced, that's not really that big of a deal. But I'm going to tell you right now that yes, I can understand how my car looks like it's a big freaking shambles, like everything blows up, at the wrong time. But if I were to buy a car for $500, I'd be out $500, not out $14,000 because, I'm basically trying to work on a car that I'm actually paying for. I'm still paying off. I owed $6,000 on the car, and then I refinanced, basically, is what I did. They paid off the car. Yeah, they paid off the car, and then they gave, which I was like, why is that? But then I used that extra money to basically pay some bills, take off some stuff, and everything else. And take off some debt that I had, is what I had. So now the only thing that I have that's a really big debt on my backside is basically 2 cars. Yes, is basically 2 cars. I owe 11 grand on a car that we don't have anymore, that was repossessed and taken from me, and taken from both Joe and I. So that car's gone. But the thing is that, yeah, I gotta pay for it because it sits there on my record. It sits there on my credit score. It sits there on saying to me, Jack, you don't have anything to worry about for paying, so go ahead and file for bankruptcy. But I only have 2 debt to income things on my record. And then I have this $14,000 loan for whatever. But there's nothing wrong with my car. No, my car is completely not broken. It just has stuff that happens to it that maintenance-wise break down. But if I would have known what was going to happen, I would have prepared for it. But nobody prepares for a car to break down. No one does. Yes. Because if we would know what is going to happen in our lives when our car breaks down or something like that, then we would prepare for that. We would get ready for that. We would be like, okay, I'm going to go out and buy a transmission, a clutch, and everything else that I have it on. So I have it on, have it sitting in my garage so that when my car breaks down, bam, I have another one of those. No, I'm not a fucking race team. I don't have extra parts lying around. No one has that kind of money to pay for that kind of stuff. But see, the thing is also no one has money to get a loan anymore because banks don't like to give out money anymore because people don't pay it back. All they do is they take the money and then they file for bankruptcy. And then that basically sits on their record for another 10, 20 years, and then they freaking take care of it when they get, a quick rich fix. When they get rich or something happens to them, they just pay off their debts, and then they do it again. Because I would love to be able to get a loan again. Or I would love to be able to have some magical money fall out of the sky and fucking take care of my debts like all these other people are getting. I don't know. Because they show all these stupid goddamn things on these Instagram, Facebook pages all the time about how these people get all this money from the government and they use it for something else because they're not supposed to be using it for... They're supposed to be using it for student loans, but then they use it for something else because they just put in what they need it for, and then they get a $50,000 loan sent to them. And then it's like forgiveness or something like that because it's taken care of by the government. That's what these stupid ads show on Facebook and these stupid ads on Instagram and all this stuff. They show these people basically getting free money, but I don't know how the hell they're doing it. Why do they show this stuff? That's bullshit and asinine. Because I don't understand why you have to put a credit card number in to get something from... You don't get any money back. You never win. You always get money taken out of your account. Yeah. Because it takes a percentage out of your account all the time. I notice that because I get alerts when something gets taken out of my account. And every time I was playing this game, there was money coming out of my account. And I was like, that's not right. So then I stopped it and was like, what the hell? And then I changed the bank card that was sitting that was connected to into my account. So there's no way to ever get around to get free money or you win the freaking lottery. There's no way to get. But so I have something that's on my mind. You know, I got a question though. It's on my mind. This has been on my mind for a couple of days. And I know that this may sound really bad a little bit. But when you're coming over here to America, when you come to America and you cross over onto American soil and you're here, when you call somebody on the telephone back home in your native country, when you're on the phone, I understand that that's fine. You're talking to a family member. But when you're in the presence of a lot of them, like of people that speak English, and they don't understand what you're saying, is it wrong to think that they're talking shit about you? Or is it because, I mean, I stay in my lane when they're talking because I don't know what the hell they're saying. When somebody's from another country, I don't understand what they're saying. I don't really know what they're saying and what's being talked about. But I sometimes think that I think that's kind of rude because they could be talking shit about you and you have no idea. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm going to go up to them and be like, "Hey, can you not speak that way because I don't know if you're talking shit about me," because I'll stay out of the lane. But it kind of makes me think that they're saying something about me because, you know, they're sitting there talking, you know, so loud so that everybody can hear them, you know, but they're talking so loud that everybody can hear them, but you're trying to figure out what they're saying because you don't know what they're, you don't know how to, interpret their language. So basically having those ear things that go over your head that translate everything, I think, we're supposed to wear those all the time? Because I always think that language or speaking in a different native tongue, I always think that sometimes they're talking shit about us or talking shit about me. And I would really like to know what they're saying. Because, I had a friend of mine, he went into a nail salon one time and he had those translation headphones in his ears, and he walked in with his girlfriend to get a nail appointment done. He was sitting there with her, and the whole time the little Asian ladies were talking about doing her nails. They were talking shit about her. Yeah, they were talking shit about her. They were saying that she was fat. They were saying that she was a whore, or that she looked like a whore and she looked like a tramp with all of her makeup and everything else. And he got up in the middle of the thing and he said, "I beg your pardon? Why are you calling my girlfriend a whore? Why are you saying that her nails, that's why she came in there to get her nails done?" So the manicurists and the people that were doing the pedi and the manicure, they were talking so much shit about this girl that she thought it was just, she was saying whatever, but they were talking shit about her. And see, that's why I don't understand why, that's why I think that people talk shit about us, or they talk shit about you all the time when they speak in their native tongue in front of you. I mean, yeah, They want us to go over to their country and learn their language and speak, in their native tongue in front of us. And we could do it if we sat down and, learned a language. But see, the thing is that the universal language is English. Yeah. So the universal language is English. And everybody needs to know English. I mean, at least I think they do anyway. I'm not saying that it has to be done, and I hate you any differently if you don't speak English. But I just think it's kind of rude to sit in front of somebody and speak in your native tongue and say something in front of them and look at them like you're having a conversation with them, but then you're actually talking to somebody else on the phone. But I don't know if you could be talking shit. You could be saying that, I'm a big giant fat ass and you don't feel comfortable about being on my shuttle or doing anything else because you're talking shit about me in your native tongue. I mean, we don't talk shit about people in front of us. No. We say something, we're going to say it right to your face. Because we have the balls to. Because that's what I think. I mean, I have people travel on my bus all the time, on my groom shuttles all the time, and they speak in their native tongue, and I'm always sitting there wondering what the hell they're saying. It either sounds like they're mad, it either sounds like they're pissed off, or it sounds like they're mad or pissed off, or they're making fun of me. That's what it seems like. But I don't know. I'm not going to turn around and say, hey, can you not talk like that on my bus? If you're going to have a conversation, can you please have it in English? I'm not going to say that. Because I'm just going to stay in my lane and sit there and think, what the hell are they saying? Because I'm thinking that they're talking shit about me. I really do. Every time I think someone's talking shit about me all the time. And that's just because of the way I am. But I'm not really worried about it much anymore. I don't really care much anymore. But anyway, so if people want to know what a tracksaholic is, a tracksaholic is a person who spends 90% of their time laying tracks, making tracks, driving around in their car, doing things that they want to do, and just having a good time behind the wheel. Kind of the same thing as a hoonigan, but, more of a track kind of like person. More of a person who lays tracks, I always think that motorcycles, you're making tracks, you're doing, you're making tracks, you're having fun, you're slinging mud, you're laying tracks, you're doing fun, you're having all kinds of things. That's what, Tracks Revolution, Tracksaholic is. So, that's what I think. So, I don't really know. But every time I turn around, it's something, something like that. So, no, and that was just one of the things, the whole thing about the speech thing and talking and saying that the guys are rude that when they talk in their native tongue, that was just something that was on my mind because that has been happening a lot. And I don't really know how to approach it. Because I have people who talk in their native tongue all the time and they say stuff and I always feel like I'm out of the loop because I'm not, understanding them. But the thing is that, I don't really know what they're saying, but I sometimes think that they're talking shit, but they're probably not. They're probably having a conversation about, their dog and what they did and what they had for lunch and stuff like that. And that's probably just perfectly quite all right. That's why I'm not really worried about it, but I just don't understand, why people have to talk so loud in their native tongue and let everybody hear the conversation and then be there in awe because they don't know what the hell they're saying. Yeah. That's what really grinds my gears. That's what really bothers me about that because I've always tried to figure out, what are people saying all the time? Why are they talking like that? And then they look at you, and then they look at you, and you think, oh, well, did I do something wrong? Or did I miss something? Did the conversation drop, and all of a sudden, they're just saying something because they want to. Who really knows? It's something that happens every so often. And I just wonder because, sometimes I always think that someone's talking shit about me because every time I hear people talking, they always seem like they got something to say about me all the time. And that's usually how it is, but I don't really understand it anymore. I don't really get it. I don't really, know what the world is thinking right now, but who cares? I mean, I don't know. I just live my life every day like it's the last day on this earth, because some days I'm wondering, how much longer I want to be around here. Do I want to live in Minnesota any longer? Do I want to be here? Do I want to be going down to Mexico and seeing other things and being around that kind of car show scene or be whatever. But everybody tells me that if I go someplace else, I'll probably end up shot or dead or something like that because I'll piss somebody off because I'm a nice guy and everybody walks all over top of a nice person. They take advantage of a nice guy who doesn't really, say too much. But I don't really understand what the hell I do. I mean, I'm not trying to get friends. I'm not trying to win anybody's love. I'm just trying to be myself, Like, live my life every day. That's what I want to do. Be happy. Be who I am. Not worry about what everybody thinks of my ass. But it just happens. Because the reason why it just happens is because I wonder so damn much why people are the way they are. I never understood why. Because I just don't. Because I don't understand why people are the way they are towards other people. I mean, I wish that people could carry on a conversation with somebody there was this guy that I met today on the van from here, and he's from Alexandria. He's from Alexandria, but he used to go up to Alec all the time when he was, he would go up there on the weekends, and he would hang out up there, and he would snowmobile and stuff like that around Nelson all the time, and he'd hang out up there. And he was really cool. His name's Patrick and everything. He's a really nice guy. He drives a Cybertruck. He's really cool and everything. He's into cars and driving, But he used to have a Raptor. Yeah, he had a first-gen Raptor, and then he lives up in California and stuff. And he's a really cool dude, But he looks like somebody that I used to know. But he never hung out with anybody that I used to hang out with at Alec. So I don't know. He was up there in 01 and 02 and stuff. And I didn't start living in Alec and stuff until I think I lived in Alec in around 2006 or 7. I think is when I lived in Alexandria. But I can't remember. It's been so damn long that I worried about living in Alexandria, living in whatever, because I can't remember when I went to truck driving school at Alec Tech. I can't remember when I went and did that, but I thought that was after 05 or 0 something. That's what I thought. I thought it was after 05 and 06, but I can't remember. But, so yeah, Tracks Revolution, Tracksaholics is finally what we are for a car club. And we're going to be around for our 30th anniversary because Tracks Revolution is still the main name, but it's also Tracks Revolution Tracksaholics. So we just added Tracksaholics onto the end, but it's still the same company. It's still the same old Tracks Revolution that we had almost 29 years running. Because I owned the company so damn long. I'm the only one that keeps it going. Because nobody else wants to do anything with it, so I'm the only one that keeps it running. Now, am I going to change the logos up and stuff? I have no idea. I can't even find the original logos. I can't find anything from the original thing because I'm just going to start all over with a new logo and a new design. Because that's what I'm going to do. I mean, I still have the I logo. I know where it's at. I could get it off of some of my pictures that I have. But the thing is that, everybody has something that they, have in their life, and they want to just keep on going with what they got. Do something new, But I don't know if I can do anything new. I've been working, just trying to be happy with what I have, I want to do things with Mat Tracks. I want, those guys to help, those guys to be a part of Tracks Revolution and everything else, because the Mat Tracks guys are from Minnesota. They make these triangle tracks in Minnesota, and they put them on all kinds of vehicles, and they've been around for 30 years as well. Mat Tracks has been around for 30 years. But they're making triangle tracks, and they're making an alternative for tires, which I think is really cool, because there's got to be an alternative out there for tires. There's got to be another way to, put rubber to the road or lay tracks. So, there's got to be another way of doing it. And I think that a lot of people just really don't have any kind of, they just don't really have any kind of, they don't really have any kind of motivation for anything new all the time. But the thing is that I'm not trying to polish a turd over and over and over again and try to keep it going. I'm trying to make something that I started a long time ago better. And because, a lot of people look at it and they're like, well, that's a cool thing. Why the hell did you start that up again? Well, because the thing is it was good when it started. Back when it was 5 guys that was working on a car club, we were really cool. Yeah. We hung out with Techademics. We hung out with Chaotic Illusions. We hung out with Altered Reality. We hung out with all these different people that had car clubs, or Chaotic Motorsports. We hung out with all these different car clubs, and I love and respect all these different car clubs, just like the ones in Minnesota. I respect Minnesota After Dark. I also respect NextX, because they have a cool car club. They're a cool group of guys, and a great family, too. So, yeah, because they've been around for a long time, NextX has. Yeah, NextX has been around for almost 17 years, and I respect that. I think it's cool. Yeah. I've never had any problem with their team. Yeah, we had a little bumpy past in the beginning, but you know what? I'm over it now. It's over and done with. Time to move on. Clean slate, you know what I'm saying? So, that's what I'm saying. We're just going to move on. Because I think that's what needs to be done. Everybody just needs to move on, start fresh, and, do their own thing. Because I never have any problem with anybody. I don't know why people have problems with me, but you know what? I'm just a person who's trying to get to know everybody. And yeah, and I drive a very funny car. It almost looks like a clown car. But, you are technically laughing at the United States flag is what you're laughing at. If you really think that my car looks like crap, it's basically the British and the American flag draped over top of it's basically an American flag draped over a British car, and that's basically what it is. Because that's what it is. It's an American flag draped over a British car. But the thing is that it's neither here nor there, because it's, just the way that I made it. But I'm actually... We're going to put tracks on it. Yeah, we're going to put tracks on it. It's a project car. It's a car that's a work in progress. I want to cut the sunroof out of it. I want to basically make it open. I want to put seat covers on it, or stuff on it, so that I can drive it out in the winter time. and have it being able to drive in the wintertime so that I can take it to hockey games and I can take it to stuff. And people will look at it and go, that's awesome. Because that's what I want to do. I want to basically make a sleigh because I play a Santa Claus. And that's what I'm going for. That's what my project is. That's what my dream is to do. Because I like doing stuff off-roading, like going into sand dunes, going into mud, driving around on gravel roads and dirt roads and mud. That's what I like doing. But I'm also open to street racing. I'm also open to motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs, stadium trucks, trophy trucks, WRC racing, Formula One racing, drifting, all kinds of things. Anything that's got wheels and a motor, basically, man. That's exactly what I'm trying to get at with Tracks Revolution, Tracksaholics. Because we're basically open for anybody who loves and has a passion for anything with a motor and wheels. Yes. Now, I respect cars and coffee. I respect, cars and caffeine. I respect Minnesota After Dark, Next X. I'm open to all kinds of things. I'm going to start taking photos and I'm going to start posting them up on my walls and I'm going to post, on my group. And I sent people invitations. To Tracks Revolution, Tracksaholics, because the thing is that I figured, you have a passion for something, you want to post stuff on there, go for it. It's your kind of thing. But please don't come on there and start bashing somebody because of how they live their life. It's an automotive group is what it is. It's a private automotive group that I started because I want it to be open and be cool for people who are into automotive. I have nothing but respect for people who drive cars and who work on them, who have a passion for them, people who ride motorcycles. I love and respect people who ride motorcycles. My boy Street and Zach, they ride motorcycles and they have fun with them. You can ride a motorcycle for 10 years of your life and you'll probably never have an accident. But then when that accident happens one day and you end up becoming a vegetable for a while, but then you build yourself back up and you're doing fine. That's what we noticed with Zach. Zach had an accident, but now he's back and he's doing fine and he's himself. He's never going to change. We're still going to love him. I'm still going to respect everybody from the 320 motorcycle crew. Yeah, because they all have bikes. Yes, I lost a friend of mine to a motorcycle accident. He was driving a Yamaha R6. His name was Dustin Van Kemp. He was 6'11", and he got killed on a motorcycle because he broke his 3, 4, 5 vertebrae in his neck because a car pulled out in front of him. And that was a long time ago. That was like in 2004 or 2005 is when he died. But the thing is I respect and I have a passion for everything automotive because I'm trying to basically be like my hero, And my hero was Ken Block. I loved Ken Block. He was a great guy. He drove a great rally car. He loved having fun doing drifting all the time when he did his Gymkhana videos, and he was cool about it. So is Travis Pastrana. But Travis Pastrana started out as a motocross guy. And now Travis Pastrana does everything, with motorsports, which is awesome. The Nitro Circus group, that's cool as hell. And I like side-by-sides. I like UTVs, ATVs. I like trophy trucks. I like dirt. I like mud. I like getting dirty. I like working on cars. I like having fun with cars. The only reason why I'm not allowed to work on my car in my garage right now is because, one, I don't have the tools that I can have in my garage. And besides, there's not a lot of room to work on a car in there. And, you know, I don't want to make a lot of noise and piss off people in my neighborhood because I just don't want to deal with all the bullshit. So if I have a car to work on, I'm going to take it to some of my friends that know how to work on cars, and we're going to work on it together. I'd love to work on it together with a lot of my friends. I would love to work on a lot of things with the guys from Minnesota After Dark. I mean, I can't wait for all this to start taking off, for things for us to start having something happen. Because I keep on having a lot of cool dreams, and a lot of things happen in these dreams. I mean, shit. I buy Zach a freaking Raptor in one of these dreams, and I buy Aaron a freaking GTR. Because Aaron's one of my best friends, you know? And we all have a big, huge shop out in the middle of Minnesota somewhere, and we just work on cars together, you know, because that's what I want to do. You know, I love having my friends have me around, and yes, I do talk about things like I'm going through a lot of shit in my life, but you want to know something? Who isn't going through shit in their life? Who isn't down on their luck? I mean, somebody's got to be down on their luck, but then they have something turn around and their luck is fine. Everything works out in the end. I mean, yeah, you can sit here and always think to yourself that you're never going to be, you know, good enough sometimes for somebody, but I'll tell you right now, I gotta sneeze really bad. Cupid! Yeah, see, I told you, I sneeze like the guy from AC/DC. But the thing is that you can always sit here and feel like you're never good enough, or you can always just sit there and go, you know what? I don't care what anybody thinks of me. As long as I got my friends who got my back and understand me and get me, well, maybe I'll hang out with those people. Maybe I'll hang out with positive people. Maybe I won't be so down all the time if I'm not hanging out with people who are negative all the time. But the thing is that I started up the Traxaholics because, one, I know that there are people out there that want to do this kind of stuff, that want to go somewhere in a Bronco and go off-roading out in the mountains, or go to some track at BIR in Minnesota and drag race, or someplace out in Glendon, North Dakota, and drift, you know, and have fun, go drifting. I like going to Cars and Crafts, Whips and Waffles, you know, the Chanhassen Motor Autoplex, Dakota College. I like doing all that kind of stuff. I love hanging out with y'all. I love being a part of the automotive scene. Look, man, we all one time grew up with a thing called Speed TV, or Speed TV, or Mad TV, or Mav TV, where it was all about motor cars. You know, like watching automotive racing on Saturday mornings, getting up early, going to a couple car shows, going out at night, and hanging out in a parking lot somewhere with your boys, hanging out with your friends, talking about cars. That's what we all do. You know, if everybody would just get along in a car community, that's what I really respect. The Minnesota car community, yes, I understand that it's only around for a couple of months, but for those couple of months, man, you know, we do all kinds of things. And then in the wintertime, you know, you still can do shit. You can still paint RC cars with each other. Work on RC cars. Go find a track and drive indoor RC car racing, which I think would be really cool to have. Make up a warehouse and open up an RC car track so people can drift, so people can, you know, drive, you know, truggies, buggies, and dune buggies, and all kinds of stuff inside of a building and everything. That was really cool. They used to have an indoor go-kart, or not an indoor go-kart track, but they used to have an indoor RC car track in St. Cloud called Thunder Road. I don't know if they still have it or not. I don't know. But maybe they should have an indoor go-kart track. Maybe they should have something where people can go who's got an adrenaline and wants to race. Because Minnesota has a pretty decent car show scene. I mean, we do have a lot of car show people in this area that are passionate, and they have a love and a great respect for motorsports and automotive stuff. I mean, it's not just something that's whistling Dixie, bro. It's, open up and fun. And I can tell you that there's a lot of people that love car shows, and they come up all the time, and people want to go to them, but they're just like, well, if I go to this car show, then I gotta be back for this one later. And everybody at Minnesota After Dark, we always have our show at 8 o'clock, pretty much at Buffalo Wild Wings, or we have it at a different location. But if you join the group and you join the team, you'll know where everything is, as long as you just keep on giving it a shout out and a chance. But as long as people just keep coming and talking about cars and hanging out for the cars and not for the drama, then that's what it is. We're all there for the cars and the love of motorsports. That's what we're there for. I mean, that's what I think it is, man. I really wish that more and more people would do things with motorsports in Minnesota and less bitching about other things. But that's just one man's opinion. That's just my opinion. And that's how it's got to be. And I don't know, I know there's a lot of car shows coming up. I know that Power Cruise is going to be back here again at BIR. There's going to be some drag racing coming up at BIR. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. But one of the things we're always going to have is we're going to have Minnesota After Dark's car shows up at Home Furniture and Buffalo Wild Wings. Because that's always something that happens on Saturday nights. But there's always other car shows, like in the daytime. Like in the morning, there's Whips and Waffles, there's Cars and Coffee, Cars and Crafts at night, out at the brewery. There's all these other things that are going on. You just have to follow all these people and figure out where we're going. Because you know what? There's nothing wrong with cars. There's nothing wrong with them. They don't talk back to you. They don't hurt your feelings. I mean, yeah, when your car's not running, it sucks. But, because I'm living proof right now. But the thing is that I'm working on trying to get my car built up. I'm also trying to get another car for my off-roading life, for my Jeeps and Broncos and everything else. But I want to live my life and enjoy it with my friends. Because I think you guys are great in the automotive community. I really love and respect all y'all. But I just don't really want to say anything to piss off anybody, because I'm tired of some of the things that have happened in the past. But I'm over it now. I'm just here for the automotive stuff. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for the automotive stuff. I'm here for the long haul. And you know what? You guys want to be my friends? Fine. I'll follow you and respect you as long as you respect me. I have nothing but respect for everybody. And I've been saying that for years. Because when somebody goes up to the car show on Saturdays and says, hey, did you know that this person got pulled over? Everybody goes, what? Is he alright? Is he cool? Is he in jail? Or what happens? Or if this person has an accident or has a crash, we always wonder what happened to him. That's what we've always wondered. Because it's car show related. Or it's automotive related, But that's how it is. It's got to be, that's what it is. So, basically me reaching out my gear shifter knob to everybody who's in the automotive industry and everything, from Minnesota After Dark all the way to NextX. I just want to say, hey guys, let's get together and lay tracks. How about that? That's what I say. Live, drive, and lay tracks. be a Traxaholic if you want to be one. I mean, I'm okay with that. I gotta approve a lot of people, but the thing is that, you know, I would just love it if, you know, people would support my page. Because the industry is all over this great land. I mean, we can even go down to Mexico or, you know, New Mexico or Moab or the desert, or, you know, go to different racetracks and see how they do stuff around. You know, it's all over the world. Because I just think that's kind of cool. I don't know, man. It's 12 o'clock in the morning on this Wednesday morning, you know, and I think it's cool. I'm going to go home and make some pancakes and eggs later because I'm hungry for that kind of stuff. So, but tonight's final thought that I have right now is I just want to tell everybody that, hey, you know, the Traxaholics are here to make, you know, automotive great again, and to make it fun, and to be here to enjoy having a motor and wheels and laying tracks, because that's what I think it's all about. And if anybody's cool with that, they want to talk about it, I mean, that's your guys' choice. I respect you, and I think it's kind of badass. Just also want to say, you know, thank you very much for everything that's been going on. And, you know, I just want people to understand that, you know, we live our lives every day as long as we have a motor and four wheels to get us where we need to go to, you know, as long as we have fun, we take care of each other in the industry, and we just want to have stuff to make automotive great again. That's what I want to do. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Talked a little bit about what a Traxaholic is and what's the future with Trax Revolution, because I like Trax Revolution, Traxaholics. I'm all for it. I think it's kind of cool, because I wouldn't have brought it out if I didn't think somebody would think it was kind of cool. But, I mean, you don't have to follow me. You don't have to like me. I mean, just know that I'll see you up at Home Furniture's on Saturday night. I'll take a picture of your ride, and it will be on the group page. You know, we'll put it in an album. We'll call it Pictures from Minnesota After Dark. The Minnesota After Dark meets, and we'll do all the stuff, and we'll post it up, and people will be able to look at all the different pictures. I mean, because there's a lot of pictures that are going to be posted up every night. It's going to be in a different album. We're going to drop albums all the time. We're going to make it so that, you know, automotive is great again in Minnesota and all over the United States. We're going to have fun with all this stuff, and I think it's going to be great, guys. So, I think we're just going to go from here and, you know, figure out what we're going to do with Trax Revolution, Traxaholics, because, you know, I really think that there is a lot of people that like to live, drive, and lay tracks, and they like to live in this world, and yeah, it's fun. I don't know why I'm yawning, but anyway. But anyway, I mean, you know, I did talk something about a little bit off-topic thing earlier, but that was because it was my normal podcast, and it was just something that really made me feel like it was something that was really grinding my gears and really bothering me. But the thing is that, you know, I don't really know. I mean, there are things in this world that make a lot of people, you know, upset. A lot of people, you know, just don't know how to react to it. And they sit there and they think to themselves, well, hey, if I didn't react to it, then how would people know how I feel? But, maybe if I just lived my life, things would be a little bit different, But that's how it is, man. We live our lives every day like it's our last day on this earth, and yet we don't really understand where we're going. Some people, they have a route that they go and they schedule that route every day and they do that route. Some people just decide to get in a car and go for a drive. As long as you're laying tracks, you're a tracksaholic. You're burning rubber, burning tires, leaving your mark on the pavement. That's a tracksaholic. A person who basically just doesn't care and says, hey, I'm going to go for a ride. I'm going to put my helmet on, close my visor, and I'm going to go for a ride on my bike. Or I'm going to go for a ride on my ATV on some dirt trail. Or I'm going to jump my trophy truck off of a sand dune. I mean, that's cool as hell. Or I'm going to take my Cybertruck someplace and, have fun with it. I mean, as long as you're happy, as long as you're living your life, as long as you're enjoying your automotive vehicle, you'll be living life to the fullest. And that's all people need to do. So, that's what I say. Live, drive, and lay tracks. Be a tracksaholic. Thanks again for watching tonight's episode and, seeing what people have to say. I mean, I respect and love you guys a lot. I mean, I understand that, things can be different. Things can be a little out of whack. Just remember, everybody loves Jack. So, I hope you guys have a great night and great morning. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.